Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
I invite you to join me in beginning with an affirmation. I give in love because I love to give. Together. I give in love because I love to give. Breathe that in. Tonight we're exploring the Wellspring of giving, which is a topic that we've are exploring from In the Flow of Life, Eric Butterworth's wonderful book we've been using for this series that we've been doing. And just being in that awareness as we move from winter into spring, of the world blossoming around us, seeing flowers and just beautiful things happening on the earth that remind us of the generosity, the giving nature of spirit. Spirit is just always giving. On Sunday, the weather was so beautiful, wasn't it? We had our chili cook-off, and had class in the afternoon. I came home and I just wanted to be out in nature. Just felt the urge to connect with nature, and I was really grateful that I had bought some potting soil and just found in my house in the last week or so that I had 2 packets of seeds that I forgot that I had. I had one that I received from, I went to a memorial. It was Scatter These Seeds in Memory, and so I had those, and then I had another packet from our celebration centennial that I had at home, and so I was potting and planting and doing all that, and just recognizing that these seeds were just laying around my house. I wasn't even really remembering them, and to find them, and that really they had no ability to do anything without me putting them in the soil. They were just dormantly laying around until I put them in the soil. I care for them, I give them water, sunlight, all the things the soil gives them so that they can come to life. It's amazing how nature is, where we get a fruit, orange or a lemon, and there are all these seeds, and we usually just throw them away or sometimes maybe swallow them. Life is always giving us more opportunities to go from potential into growth and expansion. So I invite you to consider tonight, what are the seeds that are yours, that are wanting to be planted? What is there in potential within you in your life that wants to be nurtured and grown and expressed? It's amazing how so few people truly get to fully live their potential in life, that we have so much available within us that sometimes it can get uncomfortable, right? If we feel that there's something that wants to be expressed or done by us that isn't getting expressed. Sometimes it takes some time to really pray and discern, what is that energy in me that's wanting to be lived out even more fully? So we recognize that nothing really is separate as we see what's happening now in our country and our world, as we're adapting to the news and awareness surrounding the coronavirus. We recognize our interdependency with each other, and how much of a support that can be, and also the fragility of that, as we see that we need each other, and to share our resources, to share our support, our help, our medicine, or what have you. We are interdependent. Eric Butterworth says there are two types of giving. There is an outer-centered giving that depletes the giver. This is like a tit-for-tat giving, like, Karen buys me a CD for Christmas, so I've got to think, all right, the next gift I give Karen has got to be at least a CD or better, because she gave me a CD, right? And you think, oh, I've got to... I would expect that. Right, at least that. It's that giving out of like obligation or even sympathy or ego fulfillment, that kind of thing. That's that outer giving where you feel like I have a certain amount and I give it and it can feel depleting. And then there's this other giving which we're being invited into, which is an inner-centered giving, which is a spontaneous giving of the heart, where you're giving from an awareness that you're giving from the allness of God, the all-sufficiency of God, that cannot be complete. It cannot be, completely used up, right? It's unlimited. So it blesses the giver in that when you're giving from that consciousness, you're in that flow, so you're experiencing that, and then you're blessing the receiver as well with the love, the light, all that higher awareness that comes with giving of that gift. Eric Butterworth said, if when you see a need, you turn to the realization of the all-sufficiency of God, and then give not just to the need, but from the consciousness of divine supply, then your giving is inner-centered giving, which is a way that we can fully express our potential as the divine beings that we truly are. I wanted to share this story from In the Flow of Life, and it is an example of the inherent power that we have that we can often not even realize is there in potential and available to us. And it's the story of a woman who, it's from years ago, before the book was written, a woman who's an invalid in Florida who was in a wheelchair, and she used to sit out on the porch of her home. And one day her son was out in the driveway, and he was working on the car, and he had taken the front tires off of the rims, and he had the car up on blocks. And she's watching him doing this work, and suddenly the car lurches forward, and it lands on him. Then he's screaming for his life, and she's been in a wheelchair. She's been an invalid for quite a long time, weak woman. So she yells for her husband to come out. The husband comes out. He tries to lift the car, tries to get the son out. He's unable to do it. He's unable to get it lifted enough to get his son out. And so he jumps in his car and speeds off. And the mother's just sitting there and hearing her son cry, and the cries are getting softer and softer. And she's really feeling that there's got to be something that she could do. And so she just raises herself shakily up onto her feet and steadily walks over to the car. And she braces herself, and she begins to lift this car. And this woman lifts the car enough, a few inches, that her son can get out from under the car and just scramble out, and then she collapses onto the ground. And when the doctor comes to see how she's doing, he's amazed that this even happened. Like, this just seemed like a miracle. And that the only thing that she had was just some strained muscles. And he said he just could hardly believe it, and said, I will always wonder how far she might have lifted the car if she had been well and strong. That she always had this power within her, but it was this moment, this critical moment of emergency, that she could put aside her fear and her limitations of what she thought she could do, and somehow overcome that. Somehow be so strong in her faith that she could help her son, that this power arose within her. I was so inspired by this story, that it's a true story, said it was in Time magazine, that in an emergency, she gave way to the power within her. And I believe we're being called to that in this time that seems like an emergency of what's happening, in our world, that let it give way to some great potential of compassion and love and connection for us all, rather than restrict us and separate us into fear. Let us be in the wellspring of giving and call us even higher into what is ours to do. There is a wellspring of power, of health, of abundance, and it's a level of consciousness. And this is what she tapped into. She tapped into this consciousness of strength and power that she moved into, that was beyond what she had been living constantly in this weakened state. Tapped into a power. We all can tap into that power and use that power for greater expression. In Jesus' teachings on the Beatitudes, which were his teachings on the ways of being in the world, he said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." And what I notice and what I see what's going on in the world is, don't the strong and the aggressive inherit the earth? I don't know, the loudest ones maybe? The Greek word, because this was the language Greek that the text was originally written in, is praeus, which translates as tame. So blessed are the tame, for they shall inherit the earth. And tame being a person who is at peace, centered in spirit, having a calm, focused consciousness in the flow of life. I believe that being a calm, non-anxious presence is the greatest gift that we could give to the world now at this time. Because when you're at peace, you give way to that flow of health and healing, wholeness. It's flowing through you to others in your environment that you're connected to. You're in tune with Source and you give freely. When you transform your fear into peace, then you give from that transformative power. I want to share with you a story from Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, when the crowded Vietnamese refugee boats met with storms or pirates, if everyone panicked, all would be lost. But if even one person on the boat remained calm and centered, that was enough. It showed the way for everyone to survive. To be that calm presence of peace. As we center within, as we give from that inner flow, we create harmony for all. So as we're being called to return to peace in this time of heightened stress and fear and panic, and just invite you to lean more into your practice, lean into times of meditation, listening to calm music. There's so much wonderful music that's available for free, of course, on YouTube or Insight Timer, to nurture yourself, time in nature. I just felt like just a rejuvenation, just potting some seeds, just doing those couple pots of seeds, spreading compassion, being a light. When we give from the light and the love that we are, we discover that our resource, our source, our resources are truly unlimited. Namaste.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.